everyone. My name is Yehuda Sarna, and I'm coming to you from Camp Stone, where I have the zchut of being alongside other alumni of Yeshivat Acțion. I daven Shachrit every morning with Rav Nadi Halfgat and Charuta afterwards with Rav Aviad Tabori and Daf Yomi, and just so grateful for everything that the Yeshiva has given me. Devarim, this week's Parsha. The Tanchuma says something really, really powerful. The Sefer begins Devarim, and is the Tanchuma says Hoel Moshe be'er Torah azot, that these were not just Devarim, these were not just the words, but that these words were biur. They were translated into 70 different languages. And the irony that how Moshe Rabbeinu started off his track in Nivuah by saying, Lo ish devarim anochi. I'm not a person of words. And here we are, many decades later, and Moshe Rabbeinu begins, Ve'ela devarim asher diber Moshe. These are the words, not just the words in his native tongue, but also was able to communicate in so many different languages. And the way the Tanchuma speaks about the evolution says that when Hashem first approached Moshe, Moshe said, I can't do it. In the Pharaoh's court, everyone is well versed in 70 different languages, and look at me, I can't even speak one. I have difficulty pronouncing even just the words in my own native tongue. They're going to laugh at me. What are they going to say about me? You know, when I was in Smicha, and I was working at a shul as a rabbinic intern, I was very nervous every time I got up to even give a short Dvar Torah. And someone in the shul came over to me one day and he said, you know, I'm a speech therapist, and the way I contribute to the shul, you know, I'm not a very rich person, but the way I give back is I like to offer some speech coaching to any of the rabbinic interns or assistant rabbis. Would you like to engage? I said, sure. So I began having these sessions with Dr. Phil Schneider, and he said, you know, I noticed this past week when you were speaking in shul, you seemed a little nervous. I said, of course I'm nervous. Here I am, 22, 23 years old. I'm getting up in front of a shul of hundreds of people, aspiring to offer them some kind of Torah wisdom of the world. Why should I not be nervous? He said, well, let me share with you one of the fundamentals. And Dr. Schneider is one of the world experts on stuttering. He says, let me share with you some of my perspective. I said, let me hear. He says, why are you nervous? I said, well, I'm nervous that people are not going to like what I say. He says, well, are you saying what you authentically believe? Is it a true message? Is it an honest message from you? Is it a representative? Does it represent who you are? I said, yes. And he said, so if someone said that they don't like your speech, then they're saying they don't like you. I said, that's true. So he said, well, would you change who you are just because someone says they don't like you? I said, no. So he said, what do you have to be worried about then? And I came away from that interaction really thinking about that the reason I was nervous is not so much because I was worried that other people, it wasn't about Pharaoh's court, it wasn't about what the people who speak the 70 languages, who have much wiser, much more world experience than me. The real question was whether I felt shalom, I felt whole in the words that I was saying. Were those words really an expression of who I authentically was? And the Tanchuma asks the question, well, what is it that enabled Moshe to go through this transformation? And the advice, according to Rabbi Yitzchak, that Akash Baruch Hu gave Moshe in that moment was, Shnei et Torah v'rapeh. If you learn the Torah, if you memorize the Torah, if you repeat the Torah, then you will be healed. I don't take this to mean the Torah in the literal meaning of the word, you know, the 600,000 words, or 600,000 letters. I think what it means is Akash Baruch Hu is telling Moshe, if you really come to know yourself, then your words will radiate out. You will find the way to communicate. You may not pronounce everything perfectly. You may not even know the words in the other languages, in your own language. You may struggle to find the exact words, but one thing's for sure, you will be able to communicate. If you really know your message, then you will be an ish Devarim. Moshe began uncertain of who he was, half Egyptian, half Jewish, referred to as an ish Mitzri by the daughters of Yitro. Who was he really? But by the time we get to the end of the 40 years, Ve'ela Dvarim, Moshe has studied the Torah, he knows his own Torah, he knows his message, and therefore it is able to be Be'eret Torah Zot. People in so many different languages are able to hear it. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom. May we all be Zocheh to be Ish Dvarim.